Yeah, I remember a lot of times back in the 90s, before all the 2-to-1 stuff, showing up to a fire and just working until somebody basically corralled you and pulled you back into camp. There was a lot of 30-hour shifts. If you got to a going incident, an emerging incident, and it was taken off, and there wasn't a team or anybody really in place yet, then you could count on at least a 24-hour shift, maybe a 30-hour shift. We used to do some shifts that were 40+ hours, probably even close to 50 or slightly over 50. Not all of it was working all the time, but usually there was maybe from 2 to 6 in the morning or 2 to 4 in the morning you'd wrap up in your space blanket and sleep on the line somewhere. And I'd say sleep is loosely termed because most of the time you're laying in your space blanket, freezing your butt off, covered in sweat, just waiting for the wake up so you can start working and get warm again. We're on a fire on the Mescalero reservation in 99 or 2000, pulled one of those shifts, and I remember my swamper was standing up on the line and he was leaning on a tool, and we were just kind of patrolling at this point, and I heard a clunk, and I turned over, and Zuri had fell asleep on his feet and just fell over and hit the ground, and he didn't even wake up. So he was pretty tired. Not too much of that anymore. There's a time when you have to do what needs to be done, but usually not too much over 30 hours, and then try to get some good sleep and do it again. Back in the 90s, even early 2000s, it was kind of the norm, and it was expected that when you showed up to an incident that you would go until you couldn't go or somebody told you to stop. Now, we try to limit to the 16 hours, but I know in the last couple of years, Wenatchee was a good example of having to dig deep and pull extra out and try to mitigate as much as you can, maybe sleep an extra hour in the morning, or usually I'd get up and start patrolling, making sure everything was okay, and let the crew sleep as much as they wanted. Some of the stuff that we probably used to do is, I look back now, we used to fall trees at night. We'd snag and cut burning trees at night, and it's probably a good thing we don't do that anymore. The long shifts, we do a lot of spiking out. That's always sometimes can be a problem with the IMTs, it seems like. But spiking out, we get more rest and better rest usually instead of being in camp. And camp's nice for some things, but you gotta stay in line for everything, and there's all the socializing going on, and people get less sleep when you're spiked out. You hang out for a little while and then you go to bed, and you can be right up at 6 and eat an MRE and hit the line in 15 minutes instead of the briefings and then fueling and waiting in line for lunches and then driving up to the fire. And by the time you get up there, it's 8:30 in the morning, and then you got to walk an hour to get into somewhere and work. So spiking's probably one of the best tools we have, and sometimes we don't use it as much. Things have changed a little bit in the organization and communication with the team and the IMTs and the IHCs, and at least in this region, they're always kind of wanting our feedback on the plan and what's going on and what's working, and it's kind of sometimes we're at odds because we want to spike out and they want us in camp so they can talk to us and figure out the plan. So.